All right, so good morning. This panel is called Going Long, YouTubers Making Feature Films. And we're going to introduce them in just a moment. My name is Lamarr Wilson. I'm your moderator and host and extraordinaire, all that stuff. So film has always had a hard transition on YouTube, YouTube being a very short, succinct type of media. And film is longer, and it's sometimes it does well on YouTube, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to talk about that today with three excellent filmmakers. Let's start with, to my left, Michael Gallagher, also known as totallysketch. And he has a horror film. Is horror a good term for it?
It's a horror film.
Yeah, called Smiley. And then to his left, we have Dan Doby. Please subscribe. He has a pretty good movie about a YouTube documentary.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Not great.
And then we have Jonah and Sam Katz, Jonah Green, and they are YouTubers as well, and they have Insight is their movie, a sci-fi thriller. So what we're gonna do first maybe is just, Michael, why don't you give us a brief blurb about your film and what your latest film is about, just a few words.
Yeah, so Smiley, it's a horror thriller, and the premise is a young, troubled girl named Ashley enters college, new town, fresh start kind of thing. And she discovers a group of friends that kind of take her under their wing, and basically show her this chat roulette type website. And they learn about an urban legend where if you go on a chat roulette or a chat site, you can summon this creature named Smiley who will kill the person that you're chatting with. And so she thinks it's not real, she does it for a joke, and actually kills someone. And then starts becoming paranoid in her own mind of whether or not Smiley is real, or if it's coming after her, or if this is an elaborate scheme. So she's trying to kind of make sense of it all.
I'm now terrified. All right, how about Dan Doby? Tell us about your film.
I'll make this quick. Please subscribe. It's just a documentary about YouTubers. I feature about 8 well-known people in the space, and we just kind of film their day-to-day and see what they're like and see the ups and downs of what they do and what it is to be a YouTuber.
And our youngest members, Jonah Green, Sam Katz, tell us about your film.
Insight is about somebody named Eli, played by Jonah, who is learning about hypnosis from a mysterious neighbor, and the power to control people slowly corrupts him. And at the same time, he's seeing these visions of a car crash, and he's not sure if he's seeing the future or what's happening, and he's trying to figure that out before something goes wrong.
All right, cool. So the first question I wanted to ask you all, each of you being successful YouTubers, is why jump into film when you're already successful on YouTube? Anyone can start with that. Sure.
Well, I mean, we had always been really making short films and skits. I mean, we've been doing it since 2010. And we really loved it. It's a lot of fun. And it just kind of seemed like a natural progression because we made skits, we made short films, and why wait until we're 25 or 30 to make a movie when we have the equipment now?
I come from traditional media, so kind of doing music videos and commercials. I've always seen kind of doing features as like the next step for me, and YouTube has just always been a platform for me to post content that I want the world to see. When I got into YouTube around like 2008, I really fell in love with the space, and whenever I put up content, my friends and family would be like, "Oh, what is this YouTube thing?" So I just decided to make a feature about it. It just seemed for me it was a natural progression that this needed to happen. Someone needed to do it, so that's kind of why I chose to go long form and make this documentary.
What did you do in the traditional media? I'm just being nosy now.
I would direct, produce, shoot stuff. I did stuff for Nike, Levi. I was doing music videos for Busta Rhymes, Soulja Boy. It's really weird because I fell into this hip hop world as this white boy. So
I understand.
Yeah, that just happened. It's funny. It's whenever I would meet, get jobs from clients, I would never let them meet me first because you don't want to hire this, doing like a Busta Rhymes video. And so eventually we would get on set, and I could just feel that tension meeting them for the first time, being like, "Oh, you're the guy doing the video? Yeah, it's me. Sorry, I look like this." So that's kind of where I came from. I did music videos for about like 6 or 7 years, and then did commercials for a year. Figured out it was just too robotic for me. It was too like you're just paying attention to what the client. You're just doing this mathematical problem that's already kind of figured out by someone else. So by doing features, it kind of allowed me to just do whatever I wanted to do. So, yeah.
I always wanted to make a film, and so it's just sort of the time, the money, the resources, all that, like it's just in the script, you know, all those things kind of need to come together. And so when I started YouTube, my dream was to always make feature films, but all I was really could afford or was capable of at the time were doing these kind of short sketches. And so that's why I did Totally Sketch. But then after doing that for 3 or 4 years, I got to the point where, I saved up enough money, I met enough great actors and people, and I read a great script, and so it just kind of it was like the right moment for that.
Excellent. So I have a kind of a controversial question here, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So do you feel that your art on YouTube as filmmakers is disrespected, since YouTube really caters towards, the short type of videos like most vlogs and things like that? Do you feel like you're disrespected because you may not get as many views as someone who's just talking in their bedroom, puts a video up for like a half hour and they get a whole bunch of views, but a film may not get that same respect? Go ahead, Jonah.
Not at all. I think that there is an audience for everything. And I think that you have to understand what your audience is and what they're looking for. But once you find your niche, there's always going to be a group of people that are going to want to watch what you're making, as long as you find them and as long as you sell to them.
Yeah, I don't know if I see it that way. I don't, Smiley is it's something that is, I tried to put it out, it's on DVD and it's like in Redbox and those kind of places. So it's not like it's all up on YouTube and it's just getting the wrath of YouTube comments. But I found that just like putting out a movie in the traditional space, because it came out in theaters last October, and then now it's on DVD, and it got reviewed, and it got some good reviews and some really terrible reviews. And so it was funny because all the videos on YouTube really prepared me for getting a terrible review or a good review. And so I just, you gotta all take it with a grain of salt, because otherwise, the same way on YouTube, someone being like, you're the funniest person, or you should die in a hole, you look like a monster bad. And it's like, you read that, and it's like, okay. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt, the good and the bad. So it actually prepared me for the wrath of making movies.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with both these guys. I was recently on the Adam Carolla podcast, and it's funny because I posted the same video on my channel, and I saw all these positive comments, and they were like, "Oh, good job, you're great. Oh, Adam's such a weirdo. He's I don't like his jokes or whatever." And then I go on his channel, and I see the exact opposite. So it's like all of them hated me, and it was kind of refreshing to see, and it didn't bother me at all. It just kind of gave me a little bit of a thicker skin. But as a YouTuber, and I think like posting content and knowing that someone's going to hate your stuff, I think you just have to develop that thick skin. And I guess like when you got terrible reviews, I'm sure that you're probably just like, everyone has an opinion. It's okay. I'm happy with it. So that's, at the end of the day, all that really matters.
Yeah, it's just like, at the end of the day, you gotta think about, like, most film critics are like 50-year-old dudes just watching every movie that exists. So I didn't really make that movie for 50-year-old dudes who watch every movie. I kind of made it more for the audience that watches the stuff on YouTube. So you kind of have to take everything just as it comes.
Yeah, another thing is with these 50-year-old dudes that are hating your movie, what are they making? I look them up and I look at their IMDb credits, and it's like, all right, so you can review a film, but can you make a film? So unless you've made a film, your opinion of what I do doesn't really matter.
I'd like to apologize to all the 50-year-old dudes. So, all right, so with the exception of Sam and Jonah, they put their film on YouTube directly, and they have IMDb, and so I noticed that you didn't put yours on YouTube, and the YouTube documentary is not on YouTube. And so I'm interested to know why you chose to go that route when YouTube actually has a rentals thing. You probably could have, put it on for rental through a Play Store. Just curious what your thought process was with that.
We had a lot of different options. One of the options that we had was someone would buy the film for a good amount of money. And it would have recouped all the expenses right off the bat. It would have filled up my wallet for the year and probably the next couple of years. That's not really what I wanted to do, because with that, they kind of get the option, or not the option, they can recut your film, they can replace the music, they can change, they can put on a producer credit, and I didn't want to do that, and kind of my first kind of feature film coming out of the gate, I really wanted to just have my hands in that creative space. We went with a company called Chill. They kind of were like the Pinterest of video for a while, and now they're kind of coming out with like almost paid content. Their platform, it's just, for me, it's what I think how people want to consume video. We all watch YouTube videos, we all stream on Netflix, we all download from iTunes. And this is a really simple way. I mean, you can get the movie for a relatively cheap price and download it in under 15 minutes with a good internet connection. And I think that's how everyone kind of wants to consume content. I mean, it's a YouTube documentary, so people are already watching YouTube on their iPads, iPhones, computers, tablets, Apple TVs. So this is just a really streamlined, DRM-free process that people can download it cheap, download it quickly, in great quality, and just play it on any kind of device they want.
So you opted for the non-DRM, which basically
No, it's DRM free.
Oh, yes, it doesn't have any.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so no worries about any pirating or
Oh,
like
people
that?
are gonna pirate it. It's just
Okay.
it's the night after it got the night after we went to theaters, it was someone sent me a link and it was already on. Someone did an in-cam rip on Pirate Bay. And I said, well, I guess then I made it. And I contacted the person and I was like, hey, I'm made the film. Can you kind of take that down? And they're, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just wanted everyone to see because I thought it was a great film. I'm like, thanks, but I need to, don't do that. Don't do that, please. So I know it's gonna happen. I know people are gonna it gets released tomorrow, and I know people are probably gonna throw it up on YouTube right off the bat. You just gotta kind of take a deep breath and be like, all right, it's gonna happen. And being that the file that you download is like, you can just take that file and without any conversion, you can upload it to YouTube. I mean, it's gonna happen. You just that's the world we live in right now. People are gonna do that. So I am a little worried, but I know the people that want to buy it and are going to spend $5 or $6 to buy it. Hopefully.
Why did you choose to go to the theater first versus YouTube?
Well, when we made the film, we really had no idea, how exactly it would be released. I financed it myself. It was a completely independent film, and it was something that originally, we thought the worst case scenario we could just, throw it up online and just see what people react to and do something like that. But when we started showing to more traditional outlets, we found that the response to the content was pretty great. And so we showed it to AMC and they wanted to put it in theaters, but part of that deal is they said you cannot put it on YouTube. You can't just upload it. Or you can't have it available like the same day on demand or on these different kind of platforms. So to go into theaters, because they have their rules, we had to do it this kind of specific way.
Okay.
So that's ultimately why we didn't go that way. But the experience has been pretty interesting going the more traditional route, because it would be so much easier to just give it directly to the fans. But to go through the traditional outlets, it is kind of, you have to play by their rules. You have to spend money to market it, to be in theaters. It's a much more rigorous process, and I see the benefits of just making something and just releasing it yourself, because every YouTuber has their own direct distribution to their audience.
So if you had to do it over, would you still do it the traditional route?
No, I'm really happy with how everything turned out. I think in the future you could design something that would work to do that, specifically.
Jonah, Sam, now you did put it on YouTube. Maybe talk about your experience with that so far.
Well, we weren't really interested in making any sort of compensation from the film. We really just kind of we had this cool idea and we wanted to get it out there. We wanted to kind of show people that we could do it. And it was more about kind of getting the word out about it. And so we talked to a bunch of social media personalities, and we tried to market it through Twitter. And overall, I'd say the campaign was successful. We did have a premiere in a theater, and it went well, but we really weren't too concerned in making a whole lot of money from it. It was just about kind of getting our name out there and kind of proving people that, hey, if you have a camera, if you have an editing system, you can make a movie too.
Any thoughts, Sam? Or it's about
Yeah, I mean, I would say our campaign has been a success. It was, we uploaded about 40 days ago, and it has about 40,000 views, so
Not so bad.
that's
Pretty good.
pretty good for us.
All right, so the next question, as I was thinking about this, is can long-form films coexist on YouTube with the short attention span videos? And so, Jonah, you're shaking your head.
Absolutely. I think that I really didn't think that there was even a market for it.
Mhm.
But about 2 weeks before we premiered the movie, I had a little freak out because I was like, what if no one likes it? And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. But so I went on YouTube and I just searched up feature film, indie films. And to my surprise, there were pages and pages of these feature-length movies made by people that weren't in studios, and they had millions of views. So obviously there's an audience out here that is just almost undermined because it's not the mainstream form of YouTube entertainment. So again, it just all comes down to finding your audience and finding your niche and selling to that niche.
Good answer.
I think a lot of people view YouTube as like, oh, the 3-minute video, you know, like a couple years ago, it was keep the videos under 7 minutes, and it was
Right.
5 minutes, now it's 3 minutes and stuff. I think you might see the inverse in the next year and a half. I think a lot of people are going to be coming out with, a lot of people do webisodes now, and they still keep it under 5, but I think that, like, who's experimented with the long-form content? What's the best practice? Should you take that and should you divide it up into 5-minute sections or 10-minute sections, or just do what these guys did and upload it in full? I personally think that to see long-form content on YouTube is hopefully going to be the next thing. I think for Michael and I think that at first, making a movie, you want to kind of make a profit. Yes, you want to show your movie, to as many people as possible, but at the same time, you do want to recoup your expenses and show that it's profitable, so you can start making more. Because at the end of the day, I think that all of us at this table want to be making long-form content and be making like bigger features. I think these guys have a great model as far as doing it, and they're super young and super talented. I saw the trailer and it blew my mind. How old are you guys? 18? 18, 17. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I would love to see, and I think it is the future of YouTube, just to see it long form. I think that if the rental and one of the reasons why we didn't go with YouTube is because the chill thing was so easy, but when we looked at YouTube rentals, it's kind of a lot of like red tape and a lot of things with that. But I think the next 2 years, I think that long form on YouTube could be the normal.
Okay. I'm quoting you on it.
I've been trying to experiment with longer form content, and it's something that every year we do this Valentine's Day Interactive. And this last year, Steve Green and I, who's in the audience, give him a round. We made our epic Valentine's Day Interactive that was 45 minutes long. And so it was 13 videos that were all uploaded on the same day, but if you watch every option, every possible thing, it was actually like 50 minutes. So it's basically a feature. And it was something that we worked really hard on for about 2 weeks straight, like didn't get any sleep. Tried to get a bunch of cameras. We have like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, Jason Mewes, and just a bunch of YouTubers showing up in it, and it's wacky and weird. But it was something, it was an experiment. We were like, we'll just chuck it up there and just see what happens. And people loved it. The response was great. But it is tough because we found that people would go like, oh, it's so funny. Like I talked to somebody, watch it. They're like, oh, did you get through the whole thing? Like, nah, I just saw like 10 minutes. But it was a great 10 minutes. So it's, I think YouTube, I think there's still that mentality of people, there's some people out there who say, oh, like, why watch like an hour-long thing when I could watch, 10 or 40 like little shorts, And so sometimes people have to make that debate because, you never know how someone's going to watch it. YouTube is something where people are just perusing at work and they're just clicking on one video, and then they sneak and go back to work. You have that culture, and you have other people who just, that's what they watch instead of TV, like got rid of their cable box and they watch TV. So I think it's both, and as, the internet connection gets faster and content becomes more readily available to stream, it's something that, we're definitely going to want more longer form movies. And people hate paying for things, so we should just make more free things.
Excellent. All right. I have one more question, and I want to turn it over to the audience. We have about 10 minutes left. So the last question is, what's one thing you'd like YouTube to do to support filmmakers on a site that's dominated by short cat videos or vlogs? Like, how can they support you better?
I mean, maybe make it really simple to just upload and say, hey, here's a price, or maybe have like a thing. I mean, there's a Google Wallet out there, but I don't think too many people use that. I think if there was an easier way to like enter a PayPal or Amazon account into it and just pay for stuff, but have it be really cheap. Like in an ideal situation, if I could have, please subscribe go up and someone just says, buy it now or something, and the credit card information is already stored there, and it's like really just super cheap for them to buy. I think that would be great. Just click, stream, watch, and you're good.
That's a really good idea.
Did anyone work for YouTube here?
YouTube, show yourself.
Take notes.
There's someone that has a pay-per-view platform though called viewer.com where you can do that.
Oh, nice.
VUIER.com.
Nice self-promotion there.
Set your price, set your little reading time, and then you can pay.
Where were you 8 months ago?
Seriously.
Just kidding. No, I agree with Dan. Yeah, the part of why we went on, Smile's available on iTunes plug, and part of the reason we went with iTunes is because it's so easy to, so many people buy music and they're already connected to it, so it's an easier process to rent a movie or buy a movie from iTunes than it is from a newer site where you have to enter all your information in. And I found that with YouTube. Like, I've never watched a YouTube rental myself. I mean, show of hands, has anyone watched a YouTube rental here?
3 people.
3 people. 4 people. That's pretty impressive, actually. Never mind, we'll take it back. That's 4 people.
I've actually bought the couple of The Walking Dead.
Oh, you have?
Episodes, yeah.
On YouTube?
I'm a buyer. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's something, and then show of hands, how many people have iTunes accounts?
Okay.
Okay.
Big difference.
So if a movie was on iTunes compared to YouTube rentals, there's a lot more options for people who can just click as opposed to this. Okay. And it's just like, is it really worth it at that point? Like, I mean, it's such a process. That was like 25 seconds. But no, I think, you want the content to be readily available. I think something that would make it a lot more helpful to content creators is if something like iTunes or YouTube or any place that hosts content had sort of like when you go to when you used to go to a video store and they have like the selection from the staff, they pick some of their favorite movies and then switch them out and give you a different idea. It's kind of a curated section. I wish that these places where you could get movies had a curated section. So, because there's so many titles, there's so many movies, how can you possibly figure out which ones to watch, especially if they haven't had a huge marketing budget, they're not starring Steve Carell, like how do you even know about a movie? So I wish there was a curated section where they could say, hey, like maybe no one's ever heard of this, but this movie's fucking awesome. Like, you should get it. Like, I would be more prone to watch movies that were recommended to me by a site where I already have my credit card information. So hopefully that exists.
Jonah or Sam, did you want to add to that? No?
Yeah, another thing that YouTube could do is play up that YouTubers are making feature films, and maybe the pre-roll ad before a 4 or 5 minute video could be for this movie. It would say this is a YouTube movie, and they would have if you click on it, you would go right to Insight or Smiley or please subscribe.
You can do that, it just costs a lot of money right now.
Right, but I'm saying YouTube should really play that up. Like, these are YouTubers.
Yeah, it should
so it should be
help some brothers
cheaper.
out. We're all white, also. Sorry. I'm a big fan of yours.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. So do we have any questions from the audience? I think this was fascinating. Yes, sir, in the back.
Sorry, Netflix?
Yeah, you're playing up videos on Netflix.
Yeah, well, Netflix is usually, again, when you're doing a feature or anything like that, it's usually the last stop before you would just like go to YouTube. And I know that one day I will be the one who uploads Please Subscribe for free to YouTube. It's just not its time right now. And a lot of people are like, oh, why isn't it a YouTube movie? Why is it not on YouTube? It will get there. But I think even before that, like Netflix is usually your last stop. It's when you see a film on Netflix, from my experience, the deal isn't that fantastic. So that's why I think when you see films, it's like their last stop. What's going on there? Netflix is usually the last stop before you like upload it like for free on YouTube, I'd say. And I would love to see Please Subscribe on there, and we already have like, you know, it could happen in about like 10 or 12 months for us. But right now, yeah, we're gonna, that's, I don't know if that answers your question.
Cool. We're actually gonna have to wrap it up. Our time is up. Each of their films is gonna be presented at 4 p.m. today at, you know, tomorrow. Don't go today.
Don't come today.
Don't do
There's
that.
nothing there.
All right, sorry about that. Tomorrow, you know the room that it's gonna be in? If not, check your programs and.
Yeah.
We're all at the same moment, so you have to make your choice now.
Yes.
They couldn't stagger them, it had to be at the same moment.
All right. So we want to thank Michael Gallagher, Dan Goby, Jonah Green, and Sam Katz, all fine filmmakers. Thank you.
All the tweeting.
Yes.